Welcome back. China's Eagle Health listed on the ASX today, jumping over 8% on debut. The company produces protein powders, health supplements and vitamins and is capitalising on Chinese demand for healthcare products. So why list here on the Aussie market? Well, I asked Eagle Health Director Rod Hannington. Rod Hannington, really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much. Exciting day. Congratulations.
Yeah, brilliant day. Yeah, really good after 6 weeks of a long roadshow raising money, long haul. But it's been great. We raised the 25 million and a little bit more, and now we've listed today at midday. They're very exciting times.
Just on the listing, why list here? I mean, it's a company based out of China. Why not list there?
Well, as your investors may know, listing in China is a very, very long process. It can take years and years. So that wasn't an option for the company. But in particular, as you know, Australian products selling very well in China in the health sector. So listing in Australia was a nice logical fit for us because we want to source a lot of IP from Australia.
And I want to talk about that, but before we do, there's been some scepticism around companies based in China listing here on the Australian market, transparency, liquidity, those sorts of things. I mean, was that something that you were aware of when deciding to list here in Australia?
Yeah, we were actually very aware of that. And our lead manager, Beer & Co, we're also very aware of the need to have investors feel comfortable with the business. We have a board with 3 Australian on, and we also have a chairman, the Honourable Andrew Thomson, who is also fluent in Mandarin. So the setup of the board was mindful of what we need to do to the investment community in Australia, and getting the messages out, having a transparent board process and everything was a very important part of our investor pitch, actually.
Well, on that, I mean, was that part of the messaging, and was that some of the questions and feedback that you got when you were travelling around the country?
Absolutely, yeah. There was a question, why is this Chinese company going to be any other than some of the past listings? And that's understandable, but we think the structure of the company, the way the board has been set up has addressed some of those concerns. But in addition to that, the business fundamentals here, it's a fabulous gross margin business. It's growing at almost 2.5 times the category growth. So the P&L looks fabulous, the business and the category is sustainable. So it's a bit of a different story, and we hope that Eagle Health is going to be changing the perception of investors in Australia and listing as Chinese companies.
So would you expect potentially more Chinese companies to look to come and IPO here?
Well, listing is not my core business. I'm in marketing and strategy for healthcare. But I think after they see what we've done with Eagle, there'll be a lot of companies that will express interest.
All right, let's get to Eagle Health itself. I've seen it described as a smaller version of Blackmores. Talk us through it, like what you see as the opportunity and what this business is about.
Yeah, so the supplements category in China is about a $50 billion category. That's a sub-segment of the overall healthcare sector in China. And it's all about self-medication. And it's actually Eagle's promise to Chinese consumers is to help them live healthier lives through self-medication and self-supplementation. But we're not just a supplements company. We have a range of nutritious food and supplement products in our portfolio. And we have a combination of Western and traditional Chinese medicine products as well. And so, some have said we're a bit like a small Blackmores, if you like. I think our range is a little broader in the food sector, in the food supplement sector. But certainly our promise to Chinese consumers is about self-medication, managing their health proactively to live stronger and more fulfilling lives. And
is that something that's gaining more and more importance and focus within, the Chinese consumer?
It was always there, actually. Traditional Chinese medicine has always been, built around the pillars of medication and helping and prevention. So that mentality of self-medication and supplementation to improve your health and prevent onset of any potential sickness has been well entrenched in traditional Chinese medicine. However, now Chinese consumers are very accepting of Western and other Eastern products that are coming along now that have interesting and possibly good evidence of health benefits.
And do you look towards Australian products at all, potentially to then distribute into the Chinese markets?
Yeah, we do. There's two actually ways we can look at this. Firstly, as everyone knows, with Swiss and Blackmores and other supplement companies, they've done pretty well in China because Australia can be a trusted product, Australian-produced product, trusted, and are trusted well by Chinese consumers, and they have this clean green imagery in the Australian market as well. So we think that the Eagle brand is very well trusted already. Let's put that on the table. You don't have $84 million of sales in 2016 without having some trusted consumers. But we think we can bring to the Eagle portfolio Australian components. And they may be IP or health, intellectual property or ingredients that can add value to our portfolio, or they may be finished products. Our gross margins in the business are 55 to 60%. Some of our highest gross margins are 65 to 70%. So whatever product category we have a look at, obviously we want to protect our gross margins. And that may mean we bring ingredients in and make them in our plant in Xiamen rather than bring a finished product in. Or it may mean we bring a finished product in.
As you mentioned, it's already a trusted brand within China. Quite often you see, be it Australia or other countries, companies struggling in terms of distribution channels into China. What is your sort of distribution channels like, and what is the general setup that you enjoy within China?
Yeah, so we're selling through 258 distributors in 2016. Obviously that'll grow as this year progresses. And keeping in mind the peak of our season is traditional Chinese New Year. So traditional gift giving in Chinese New Year is a peak of our business, which we start building up to October, November in terms of shipments. But overall, our distribution footprint is excellent. It's primarily bricks and mortar. We have a small online business, but the categories we're in and the therapeutic areas we focus on are very strong in pharmacy and in some cases also in supermarket. So we've got a very nice distribution footprint. And I like to borrow from my supply chain colleagues. Supply chain compliance is very strong. You go down line and you go into tier 3 and tier 4 cities and you have a look at Eagle products on the shelf and you find they're only made 3 months ago. And when you go to the end of Chinese New Year, you walk into our warehouse and it's virtually empty because everything's sold out and sold through. So that supply chain velocity, as I call it, is a very important part of success in China.
And how difficult would that be to replicate, for competitors looking to come into that market, particularly that might be attracted by those margins that you enjoy?
Sure. Look, it's all about relationships with the trade. And it's all about your downline wholesaler relationships and their respect for your company as well as your respect for their business. So no discount, very little discounting, pricing protection, not over-ordering stock and then distress allowances at the end. All of those things are a part of a relationship you have with your distributors. And Eagle's now had that relationship for over 16 years with this distributor network, and that sort of shows in our great supply chain compliance.
Rod, as mentioned, congratulations. Big day for the company.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
US President Donald Trump has tweeted a video of himself wrestling a man with a CNN logo on his face. The video ends with the logo changing to Fraud News Network. Mr. Trump's tweet has sparked universal debates once again.
Donald Trump says he's redefining the behavior of a modern-day president.